Two world-class football teams, Test match cricket, the National Cycling Centre, and a history of hosting major sporting events like the Commonwealth Games. It's fair to say the big city of Manchester more than punches its weight in the sporting global scene. Add in a marathon that attracts the elite athletes and a wonderful atmosphere around the whole course, then the Asics Greater Manchester Marathon really does offer up the best of British. The race is over 100 years old, but it's not flagging. Oh no, because the last 2 years it's been voted the UK's best marathon at the Running Awards. Let's hand you over to our commentator, Patrick Winterton, to take you through how the 2016 race is set up.
Welcome to what is regarded as the fastest, flattest and friendliest marathon in the UK, a race that attracts thousands of PB hunters and plenty who've never been the distance before.
A little nervous, but looking forward to it. It's all our first marathon, so yeah, it'll be good.
Based for the first time at the Emirates Old Trafford, home to Lancashire County Cricket Club, the route will take the 15,000 runners to Salford Quays and back before going past Old Trafford and Coronation Street, Southend through Stretford and Sale to the turnaround in Altrincham. And then they double back on themselves before taking a detour to the west. And then head over the Mersey at the Village, and then back through Urmston, and this is where it's going to start to get tough. And then finally, of course, back to the cricket ground for the finish. Now, for any batsmen who've entered, the 26.2 miles is the equivalent of 2,097 runs, and that's without any boundaries at all. There is a real buzz around town.
Why Manchester?
I've heard it's really fast because it's flat and really friendly. And so far it hasn't disappointed. Manchester's been fantastic. People have been really, really nice.
Everyone said it's one of the best you can do. So, that's why we're here. Yeah, that's why we're here.
Some doing relays, some doing full marathons, and we're just here to have a good time and enjoy it.
I saw what fun she had last year when she came over the line. She looked great and fresh, and I thought I'll have a go at that.
There's lots of first-timers here. Mike, you are one of them, your first ever marathon, let alone your first ever Greater Manchester Marathon.
Indeed, yeah. Just a friend of mine asked me if I'd come with him, so I said, yeah, that'll be a laugh. So here I am.
Many are still making their way from the stadium to the start, but the traditional warm-up is underway. Now, this event started in 1908. It hasn't been run every year, but in terms of participants and sense of occasion, this event is definitely on the up.
It's getting bigger and bigger, and apparently it's had international recognition now, which is wonderful. Absolutely brilliant for Manchester.
What's your goal today?
3:15.
Paul Martelletti won the men's race in 2:17 last year, and it's expected to be a fast race again. In terms of the women, Kelly Crickmore of Stockport Harriers, certainly one of the favourites in the women's, alongside Samantha Amend.
Race build-up's been great, but the last couple of weeks have been a little bit dodgy. You know how it is where you niggles and you wrap yourself up in cotton wool. I kind of know who my competition is. I'd love to be able to get a first place finish, and I love coming back here, hence the third time. Third time lucky, maybe?
On the front row in the men's, Dan Nash, a good 1,500 metre runner. Joe Bailey is there, James Douglas, Steve Payton. One or two first-timers, plenty with experience, but none with as much as the race starter, Ron Hill. Only the second ever man to beat 2 hours 10 in the marathon. An absolute legend. And many will enjoy the fact that he is there to start the race. And they're underway in the 2016 Greater Manchester Marathon. And as always, a fairly stiff pace going off the line. Be interesting to see how they sort themselves out over the first couple of miles. 15,000 runners. It'll be a while before they're all across that start line. But the favourites are underway. The women mixed in there as well. We'll get to see the best women runners as the race goes on. Ron Hill still looking very lithe. He weighs exactly the same as he did 55 years ago. Few events as colourful as the start of a marathon of this size. Plenty of fancy dress in there as well. Just over 10 minutes gone, and a group of 10 men have broken away. Joe Bailey setting the pace in the middle of your picture in the red vest. And James Douglas in there as well in the Border Harriers vest on the right of the picture.
I know it is flat, and I was told it's quite a good atmosphere as well, with folk tending to come out and support it, which again is a bit of a draw, because there's some long straights on there and you could do with a bit of support on them.
Leading the women's is Samantha Amend, a Belgrave Harrier who was second to Georgie Brunvels last year. She's had good results and good experience here.
I think a lot of people are drawn towards London and it's the only race, but actually having run it 9 times, the stress levels, trying to get to London, which is closer to me where I live in Buckinghamshire, I'd far rather come up north. I like the organisation, I like the racecourse itself, I feel less stressed. And it's important when you're running a marathon that you try to do the best possible, and for me, coming up this way is a lot easier.
Running with good technique as she goes past Coronation Street Studios on 36-minute 10k pace at the moment. That will give her just over 2.5 hours, which perhaps is a little quick considering she did 2:44 last year. But a solid start from Amend. Kelly Crickmore in second place in the women's. Her style giving away her cross-country running background. Lots of spring in her step in the early stages. Third in the women's, Gemma Connolly. She was third last year. Can she get a podium again? And Michelle Nolan not far behind. She's a good track runner and she's had some good results over half marathons in the past.
Even if it's raining, there'd still be people coming out on the streets and supporting you, and that's what, like I say, what gives you the boost. People supporting you, people being there. It makes it more of an event rather than, it's a massive challenge, don't get me wrong, but it's more of a fun thing as well. You come for everything that goes with it, the build up before, all the community, and then the afterwards. It's all part of it.
Michelle Nolan coming up on the heels of Gemma Connolly. Through she goes, up into third place. She's a member of 3 clubs, but running in the Gateshead colours today. And a really solid start from her. The leading men down to a group of 9 now as they go past Old Trafford. Bailey still doing the donkey work up front, Nash alongside him, and Gorman and Douglas well positioned in third and fourth. 5 miles gone for the leaders as we catch up on Kelly Crickmore, PB of 2:45. That might be good enough today, we will see. I'm sure Ron Hill will be watching her performance with interest, and he of course was one of Britain's best ever marathon runners.
Well, I had the world record for the marathon back in 1970 at the Commonwealth Games, and I ran 2:09.28. So I've never missed a day's running since December the 20th, 1964, which is 51 years and counting, This is the 40th Manchester Marathon, it'll be bigger next year, I'm sure. And it's great. They're not all potential champions. People just love the fact that running a marathon and finishing it is a challenge. And most people will do it today.
Many will discover that their minds and bodies can take far more punishment than they thought, and they've come from far and wide for the pleasure today.
Angela, look at you, thumbs up, you enjoying the support?
Fantastic, absolutely wonderful.
Is it your first time here in Manchester?
First time, first marathon, wonderful, thank you.
Well, she's certainly got a spring in her step, and we'll be appreciating every single one of the spectators here. They play such a massive part on an occasion like this. Proud of you, Mum. Motivation at its best. I hope Mum makes it on this occasion.
Flasher Johnny, how are we getting on?
Feel great, to be honest.
Is this your first time with us in Manchester?
This is my first marathon, yep.
Oh, your first ever marathon?
Yeah.
And how are you finding the support? Because there's so many people.
Fantastic, to be honest, absolutely fantastic.
How are we getting on?
Yeah, we're good, we're all good. The early days yet, though, isn't it?
Brilliant, well, it's going well so far then. No domestics, no arguments?
Oh, not yet. Maybe on 25 mile.
A mass of people and a mass of money being raised for charity.
Who are we running for today?
Help! Clear House Help Holly's Hospice.
And there's a man behind you with a wonderful hat on here.
Bless you.
God bless you too, sir. How are we feeling?
Feeling fine, yeah. 2 miles, 3 miles gone, it's great. These are mine, by the way, these are mine.
Well, there's great support here in Manchester for you all. Good luck.
As the masses file their way past Old Trafford, the leaders approaching Sale, which is around the 8-mile mark. Joe Bailey still setting the pace. They went through the first 10k in 33 minutes, which is just about his PB for a half marathon. O'Gorman in yellow just on his shoulder. James Douglas is in there as well. And one or two of the favourites dropping back into that second group of 5. Joe Marwood in blue looking relatively comfortable. And an interesting situation developing in the men's race. In the women's, it is all about Amend at the moment. She has set a blistering pace, 36 over the first 10k. Kelly Crickmore sitting in second, Michelle Nolan still hanging on to third and looking comfortable. Now, is this a definitive move from Joe Bailey? He is starting to hurt, and as they go through the halfway mark, they put some 50 metres. Steve Payton has dropped off the pace, as has Kevin Roas with him. And as we approach the critical stage of the marathon, we have a leading group of 5, and it's James Douglas in front for the first time.
You're changing energy systems, I think, once you get to around about 2 hours worth of work, and you're never sure how your body's going to react, and you can't really train for that eventuality sort of at race pace. You know, so some people react differently. So, you know, you do as much training as you can to help you through that barrier, the so-called hitting the wall.
Well, how about this? At 17 miles, it's Steve Payton who's come back, having been 60 metres behind, and is now setting the pace. He's got O'Gorman with him. Nash is there as well. Roas still hanging on. Morwood looks as though he's now starting to struggle with the pace. And James Douglas is some 20 metres off the race leader. Well, so often the crucial part of the marathon, and it has proved the same yet again. No sign of Joe Bailey, who set the pace for so long. He has been blown away, punished for setting that early pace. A little shake out of the arms from the race leader, Steve Payton. He has never run a marathon before. We did see him at the World Championships for the half marathon, and this is some debut that he's making. A men's still leading the women's. Now, have a look at the pace. The tempo is still there. I just get the feeling the stride is that little bit shorter. But here is a woman who wants victory. She's finished second. She's finished third. She's never won this event. Kelly Crickmore still in second. She was a minute 20 down at halfway. She's certainly a little closer to the lead now. The Metrolink, such a valuable asset to this race, transporting relay runners and all the fans an opportunity to see their races 3 or 4 times throughout the day. On and on they go. Here's Annie Emerson, who'll be enjoying this occasion, the 3rd time she's run this race. A top triathlete, brilliant duathlete as well.
I'm always really, impressed and admire, all sorts of different people that want to come and take on the challenge of a marathon, because it's not easy, whoever you are, whether you're a super elite athlete and you can train 7 days a week, or, you're someone who works 40, 50 hours a week, you get all sorts of different people out there. It's a real leveller.
Well, some of the supporters are putting in as much effort as the runners themselves, creating a fabulous atmosphere.
The support, fantastic!
Absolutely brilliant. The support all the way around has been fantastic, better than what you'd expect. Absolutely brilliant race.
How's it going for you? About 10 miles in?
Right, yeah, we're about 10 miles in. Yeah, loving it, absolutely loving it. First marathon.
You got support on the sidelines. Keep it going, ladies.
Well, let's hope we get the same turnout for the half marathon in October. That'll be another special occasion.
I've run this a few times before with the front runners supporting me at this point, and it makes a big difference.
Brilliant. And of all of the support, I can only see one pom-pom. So, hey! There we go. There's always more than one. And can I have a jelly baby? Thank you.
The fundraising, so important. Not really about the novelty of running a long way anymore, more about the recognition of the reality that there are plenty of charities out there that desperately need our support.
We're doing it for the Christies, so everyone's just been shouting and just saying, keep going, and it's been brilliant.
how you found it so far. They've been generous here in Manchester.
Very generous, nice and heavy, yeah.
When you're looking good and you're collecting good hard-earned cash. There we go. Well done, guys.
Cancer Research UK, well supported today. John Blakely running his first ever marathon for them today, and he has very personal reasons to be involved.
I lost both my parents to cancer quite a number of years ago. My dad died on his 42nd birthday, and my mother died 11 years later, at 52, so at younger ages really. Tomorrow I would have been my mother's birthday, so it just felt right to do it really.
It's going to be an emotional run for John today and for many others out there.
So at the moment, are you thinking this was a good idea? Would you do it again?
Yeah. Free. Yeah, no, it's good. Good fun.
There's plenty of official music en route, but some have decided to make and take their own with them.
Hello, sir. You've been playing since we saw you at the beginning. How's it going?
Fantastic. I'm loving it. You're absolutely amazing. I love them. It's not easy, but we get to the end.
And here's another feel-good factor, Loose Change, doing their bit to keep the runners going. Most of them through the halfway stage now. Our Scottish couple, the McGills, still together, still running. Many involved in the relays today. This is one of the changeover points, and that's such a brilliant introduction into marathon running. They still have some way to go, but with over 2 hours on the clock, the leaders now starting to think about the finish.
Welcome back to the Asics Greater Manchester Marathon. The Emirates Old Trafford is the finishing point of this 26.2 mile course. At the business end, it's getting kind of serious, but here, back in the pack, we've always got time for a little bit of fun.
Samantha Amend still leading, but for how much longer? Her lead of 1:27, which she had just over the halfway point, has been whittled down to around 5 metres, and Kelly Crickmore is coming up fast behind. 4 miles to go, just under 25 minutes or so to go. A little drink from Crickmore, and then she will be away. Fantastic running from her. She has paced this to perfection. Amend, on the other hand, paying the price for that 36-minute first 10 kilometres. She has hit the wall big style. That's not the case for Steve Baton. We thought he'd lost it at halfway, but he's come back to life, and he's had a tremendous finish here in Manchester. His first ever marathon. He is the champion. What a debut. 2:22.34 the winning time. Not as quick as last year, but a brilliantly competitive race. Kevin Roas, fantastic run from him. Second place, 30 seconds down on Baton's time.
Absolutely ecstatic. I'm over the moon. I cannot believe it. Amazing, absolutely amazing. I just got a second wind at 24 and just the crowd brought me home. Amazing.
The crowds are very good. I really enjoyed it. It's a shame I couldn't stop more time. There were some great places out there with some jelly babies. There's some people out there cheering, so it's a shame that you can't mix with them so much. You definitely, feed off it. It's definitely encouraging. It's amazing to have people out there all the way the course. So really good. Now I'm very happy to be in Manchester.
Another fighting performance from Nathan Kilcourse. He's on the podium in another big event. And no wonder Kelly Crickmore has got a big smile on her face. She takes the title here in Manchester. 2:48.04, her winning time. A brilliant run.
Over the moon, can't believe it. Yeah, I'm so happy. Fantastic race. Yeah, it's a flat course and crowds were great. I definitely want to do this one again, definitely.
Well, you have to feel a little for Samantha Amend. It was a brave, brave effort.
Sometimes you run well, sometimes you don't. Hopefully, because that's a third, a second and a second, I will come back at some point to try and get the title.
Extra big smiles on the faces of those who have achieved their PBs. Many, many going under the magical 3-hour barrier today.
We had an absolute blast. Yeah, like the crowds are amazing. The course is brilliant. And I got a sub 3. Woo! So I'm quite excited.
Annie Emerson, her third finish here in Manchester.
Do you know what? It's the most amazing course. Like, the people out there are amazing.
And for hour after hour, they will cross the line. A massive release of emotion. PBs achieved, friendships made. It is simply a great occasion.
You're nearly home, ladies, hand in hand. How's it been?
Emotional. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The support on this course has been fabulous.
Hot bath and a beer, my friend. Hot bath and a beer. How's that sound?
That sounds awesome. Thank you very much.
Listen, the finish line's just there. You've been awesome.
Thank you very much. It has been tough, but I'm going to finish.
Every marathon needs its runners, it needs its spectators, and it needs a bit of sunshine, and Manchester has produced on all 3 counts today. This is a race that many will not forget for a long, long time.
Oh my word, that was the hardest thing I've ever done. Ever, that was unbelievable. But get in, come on!
That was amazing, but so hard at the end.
Fabulous. Really good. First one, and thoroughly enjoyed it.
John Blakely, what a great effort from him.
Exhausted after that, but happy with the time. Very happy with the time. I'll never be a rock star or a Formula 1 driver, but I'm a marathon runner now. So.
And how right he is.
Crowd was gorgeous. I loved it. The whole atmosphere as well. It's unbelievable.
Great support, great race. The back next year.
Our champions today, Kelly Crickmore in the women's, a brilliant performance by her, and a well-earned drink for Steve Baton, the men's champion for 2016.
Yeah! Thousands earlier took to the streets here in Greater Manchester to tackle the 26.2 mile course. Many are still finishing behind me. It's been a superb day. The weather has been beautiful. The support has been outstanding. We're looking forward to being back in October for the Manchester Half Marathon. But from all of us here for now, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.